Welcome to the Lancaster City Council meeting. City Clerk.
Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Molly.
Present.
Mann.
Present.
Underwood Jacobs. Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Chris.
Present.
Mayor Chairman Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Move to excuse Councilwoman Angela Underwood Jacobs.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay. The invocation is LA County Fire Chaplain Wade Little. Welcome.
Let's bow our heads. Lord, we give you this night. You're the one that gives us heartbeat. You are the one that created us in your image, to be image bearers of you. So as we come into this festive season, this season celebrating your birth, that we would, as you did, serve and have charity and compassion for others. Thank you for this wonderful city that we live in, Lord. Thank you for all our city council and our mayor that labor hard to make it safe for us all and to make a city most proud of. Lord, we thank you and put a special blessing upon all who are here, for those who are being recognized, Lord, for those who are here to submit their requests. I just pray a blessing upon everyone and their families. Special blessing on our sheriff's department for those who keep us, Lord, keep us safe. Keep them safe as they work. Lord, for our fire department as they protect life and property. A special blessing upon them. Lord, we do want to never forget our servicemen, even the ones that the families, bless them, that can't be with their servicemen as they're overseas. All right, pray a special blessing and of those who have lost homes in these wildfires that we've seen in our state, Lord. Put a special blessing upon them. Lord, as we just thank you. We give this night to you, that you just give our city council members wisdom and knowledge and prudence as they direct. Pray this in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Raj, Molly, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Right hand over your heart. Please join me for pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to need somebody to bring this stuff down to me.
Okay, Raj,
Okay.
we need to bring this stuff down to Rex after you.
We'll take
Yeah,
a break.
I'll get him done.
Wait a minute, I'm getting direction here. Nothing.
Thought I was in trouble again. You know, you can be a mayor in the entire city, but at home, you're just Rex. It's true. You know, a little over 30 years ago, I remember my wife, which is here, going to the hospital to have my oldest son. And that was 30 years ago. And tonight is one of the proudest times of my life. He is past the bar, and he is joining our office as a lawyer. And because I'm, am I on? Okay. Because I'm mayor, I get to sign him, I get to swear him in here tonight. And you're all guests to that happening. And I'd like his mother, Carol, to come up while I do it. I was telling somebody, the problem with this is, it's like my job's done and I'm superfluous. You wait so long for it to happen, and now I got to figure out something else to do. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. I, Rutger Paris,
I, Rutger Paris,
solemnly swear or affirm. Well, wait a minute. Really? Let's start over. I, Rutger Paris,
I, Rutger Paris,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I will discharge the duties of an attorney and counselor at law
and that I will discharge the duties of an attorney and counselor at law
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
As an officer of the court, I will strive to conduct myself
As an officer of the court, I will strive to conduct myself
at all times with dignity,
at all times with dignity,
courtesy,
courtesy,
and integrity.
and integrity.
Welcome to the club. Okay, we're going to, we got to take some pictures. And then we're going to take 5 minutes so everybody can clear out, okay? Good. You didn't dress. Here's the other son, and he's also a lawyer, although you wouldn't know it to look at him.
Okay, right over here, right over here.
Rex.
Yeah, how about the rest of your family?
Hey, come on back. Your family first?
We'll be kidding, we promise.
Sorry, folks, we'll do this quick.
Super fast.
Hurry. Who knew we were going to have family photos?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So 5 minutes?
5 minutes?
It's not being done somehow.
You know, it used to be the camera would get these seats here, and so everybody would fight to get into these seats so they could be on the camera. So we had to move the camera. It just made me think of it. I don't know why. I was going to go join my family for their celebration, but before I did want to do this presentation. And tonight, in rounding out our celebration of the city's 40th anniversary, we are excited to honor our final recipient of our Community Contributor Award. Each recipient has been chosen for his or her work within the Lancaster community and for taking initiative to create positive change throughout the city and in the lives of our residents. I am pleased to recognize tonight's honoree, who has dedicated over 50 years to working in education, whose commitment has enriched the lives of countless Antelope Valley youth, and whose positive impact will be felt for many generations to come. Let's first watch a video which captures the true essence of the City of Lancaster's newest community contributor.
I thought I was a renegade then. I think I was ahead of my time. I started in Lancaster on July 4th, 1966. I came as a 5th grade teacher at Sierra School, and I have stayed with the district for 50 years. At that time, I got to be my own director of the curriculum, and we could take on projects and make learning fun for students. I was not the sit-in-your-seat kind of teacher. We were always doing something. I had the pleasure of working with a creative principal by the name of Mr. John Miller. He had us making kites for our students. Make a 9-foot kite. Where do you get the poles? How do you design it? How do you balance and do the geometry for it? Those are all things that you'd look at the kids and say, all right, here we go. On the Montreal Olympics, we did a run to Montreal, and we served a spaghetti dinner and had some Olympians come. One other activity, my students learned to play and performed at LPAC. They actually got performed at Dorothy Chandler down in LA. They went to Hearst Castle. We had great fun. Anything I could get students involved in outside of sitting and doing worksheets. You have to be a problem solver and you have to be a thinker. You can't just always go, well, it's going to be in the book on this page and I'll read it and know what it is. I have to take the knowledge I have and use it to solve a problem. My first day as principal at Sierra School, at 6 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call to please come, that vandals had hit the school. One wing of 4 classrooms had been burned and 7 other classrooms had been vandalized. And within one day, the family of Lancaster School District helped bring in furniture, set up classrooms, so we were down one day and we were ready to go. So we really worked together. In 2000, I worked on developing an after-school program called the CARES program that we work in conjunction and partnership with the City of Lancaster. And I worked with them for 4 years as kind of co-workers, and then I took over the whole CARES program in 2004 and was with it until 2012.
To have someone in your life, in your path, that you know is a go-to person, that's Joyce for me. The thing that I have most appreciated and that comes to my mind is just her sense of humor. To have a person in your life that reminds you not to take all of this too seriously, because it's important that we bring that sense of humor, that smile, that compassion to everything that we do. And she reminds me of that. She is my go-to person. So I know if I just need a friend to talk to, have a cup of coffee with. That's Joyce.
Somebody who has served in a district for 50 years, in a community for 50 years, deserves our appreciation and acknowledgement. I got hired the weekend before school started, and when I showed up, I had one day to get my room ready, and I walked in the room thinking I had a whole lot of work to do, and Joyce and a couple of other teachers had decorated my entire room, had distributed all the textbooks and supplies, and I was ready to go. And that sort of typifies my relationship with Joyce over the years. And when she became a principal, that was one of the things the teachers would always comment about her, is that she took care of the people that she worked with. She's just sort of the person who takes care of everyone.
When I came in, we were a family, and we still are a family. We all help each other out, and having the support and knowing that you were not alone out there. If you had a question, you could pick up the phone and call people, and they'd either come over or they'd help you find the solution. You were never alone.
I think that says it all when you say you're not alone. That was beautiful. Thank you. Joyce Mayberry started her career in education as an elementary school teacher in 1966. I was really young in 1966. And because of her commitment and leadership, went on to become the principal of Sierra Elementary School. After several years working in the classroom setting, she extended her passion for education into a coordinator position for bilingual programs and then after-school programs. After retiring for the first time, Joyce remained active in the education field, becoming one of the founders of the Lancaster Cares program, a cooperative after-school program held at 11 area elementary schools, which offers an extensive selection of enrichment activities, which promotes academic, physical, and social development. She also continued to assist the Lancaster School District by serving as an administrative coach and testing coordinator. She just recently retired for the second time in June of 2017. Today, we have a job for you. Today, Joyce remains active in the community. Tonight, I'm proud to recognize Joyce Mayberry for her unwavering dedication to the education and mentoring of several generations of our Valley's future leaders, and for all she has done and continues to do for the betterment of the entire Antelope Valley community. So, we have a couple things. One is, we have this to hang on the wall. Okay. And this is our award. But now let me go.
My family of Lancaster School District.
Well, let's get the district down here.
Come on, all my Lancaster School District family. Come on. The generations I've worked with.
Where's the money? Where's the check? The check is coming? Heard that one before, haven't you?
Let's try to get the tall and back. We're probably going to have to do about 4 rows. No, 4 rows. Try to get the tall and back. 4 rows, tall people. Help me out here. Go back there. We're going to face right about here.
scene right here. Let's get you right here. There you go. And then. We also have. Where's the check? We also have a check for $1,000 to be able to raise resources. So, let's get some pictures. You have to have some people out there. All right, put the pictures on the website.
And now I'm going to turn the meeting over to the very capable hands of Vice Mayor Christ.
Lancaster Baptist, CIF champions. Come on down here. I want you to open this. Come on back over here. Now I want to point out, see that guy over there in the blue shirt that's texting? He's supposed to be a CIF champion too. He's from what year?
A long time ago, sir.
Where's the coach? You want to say a few words?
Thank you, City of Lancaster, for recognizing us and the young men and their hard work throughout the season. It was hard work. If you ask them, I'm sure they grumbled and complained. I tell all my players basically that I don't want to hear complaining because my job is to make them better, and they're out there to become better. And they've done a great job this season with just working hard and being great teammates, being a great sportsman, and they represent our community well, even on the football field.
You guys have done a wonderful job. Who's the captain? Come on up. We're going to hear your speech.
Hello, my name is Cameron Collins, and I was the captain of the Eagles. This group right here, they're a really good group of gentlemen. We every time we're in the locker room, we have fun, but when we're on the field, we get serious because we were serious about this ring. I played all 4 years at Lancaster Baptist. All 4 years were all historic years. My first year, that was my first time we ever made it to the CIF championship, but then we lost. And then my second year, we had the worst record in school history. And then the third year, we made the most record for the most rushing yards, passing yards, and the best school record in history. And then the fourth year, obviously, we won the championship. That was our first championship in franchise history. I'm just proud that I made a build bond with this team and the coaches. Thank you for all of them, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Stay up here. Stay up here. I'd like to present this plaque to you on behalf of Lancaster City Council, and thank you guys, and thank you, gentlemen, for what you do and how you represent the city of Lancaster. So thank you. Thank you.
Let's do the three of you forward first, and then we'll do everybody. Let's do the three.
Where's the coach? Thank you. Okay, we'll give people a moment to vacate if you're leaving, and I'd like to invite Vern Lawson and Brian Ludicky up, please. Should we do them both at the same time? I'm not talking about both things separately. We'll do Vern separate. We're going to start out talking about them both, and then we'll talk separately about each. I think there's some symmetry in the fact that they're both old, and they're both retiring at the same time. One older than the other. There's a song by the Pretenders called My City Was Gone, and in it, it talks about the lead singer, Chrissy Hine, going back to Ohio, where she came from, and there was no downtown. All her favorite places were gone, and they were replaced by parking lots. Many of us that were born and are children of the 70s, in Vern's case the 60s, remember Lancaster what it was. And there were a lot of changes that we didn't like. But the difference in these two is they were born and raised here, they were educated here, they went away to college, and they came back to build their hometown. They came back because they cared about this place deeply. Working here, and I can say this with certainty for both of them, was not just a paycheck. It was about a trust. It was personal to them. Under this council, this mayor and this council over the last 10 years, I'll put the last 10 years of this city up against any decade that we've had in Lancaster, and these two were equally responsible for many of our accomplishments. Please give them a hand. We're going to talk about Vern first. Vern was the first city manager for the city of Lancaster, first full-time city manager. His focus has been always on economic development and jobs. What I've learned, and a lot of us have learned from Vern, that it's about relationships and it's about trust. It's not just about making the deal and going on to the next deal. It's about being a lifelong partner to the businesses that you had invest in Lancaster and said, spend your money here and it will work. It's about continuous service. It's about follow through. It's about being stubborn when you're right. As you know, Linda, Vern is very stubborn. Even when he's wrong, he's stubborn. But when he's right, and people come along with that. In his 42 years, public and private service in Lancaster, he has made an enormous impact on this community. Thank you very much, Vern. And I know that our Vice Mayor would like to say something. I serve on several boards with Vern, but it's more than
just serving on the board, more than just serving the community. What he has done is he's enabled us to get out of underneath LA. The AV8 QMD was created by Vern. He's the one that brought us out of the South Coast District. So a lot of things both these gentlemen have done, they have done, and we get to take credit for it, but it's these two that have done it. So Vern, thank you very much for what you do.
And now Mr. Ludicky. That song I alluded to earlier, I always think about Brian, because when Brian grew up, he really valued Lancaster and still does, but that Lancaster was a lot different. Brian's history, he came to Lancaster, right, I think you were still in college, and asked to be an intern in 1980. And then in 1984, he had a full-time job with the city of Lancaster. He is also a very stubborn person, which seems to be a trend in successful people. But his gift is that he's always been true to Lancaster. And he always knew that Lancaster was about people and community. And that's the community that we all grew up in. He saw decades of design around cars and parking lots and dispersing and getting rid of downtowns and such. The thing about Brian is he always kept in his heart, even when that was what every city was doing, what was right to do as a city, was to continue to design around people and communities. And we were finally blessed with a mayor and council that also believed in that. He was ready. He was ready, and we didn't have to wait 5 years to get up to speed. That's why we have things like the Boulevard and bikeways and safe routes to schools programs. And it's someone who's true to their community and true to their beliefs. I have an enormous amount of respect for both of these gentlemen. Brian and I have known each other since I've been here, and it's a very sad day that Brian is leaving, but I'm very happy for him. Vice Mayor.
I used to watch the Planning Commission on TV, and I'd watch Brian, and he is just smart. One smart individual, and I didn't understand how you knew all those things. And I used to tell my wife, he's the smartest person at City Hall. And then I met Mark Bozigan, and then I knew it was true. So, on behalf of the city and the city council, thank you very much. Thank you. Mark, you want to get in here? You guys want to say anything?
Yeah, speech. Come on, speech.
You know, I appreciate the accolades, but this isn't about one person or even two people. This city works because of the work of our council, our commissioners, our staff, and quite frankly, most importantly, the citizens that are out there. But I want to add one more person who is most important to me, and that's my beautiful wife, Rose, who's taking my picture right now. This is the person who gets to hear the good and the bad when I go home. And what I really like about it is that she's honest enough to tell me when I'm wrong. And I appreciate that. Perhaps not right at the time, but ultimately. So thank you. Love you, sweetheart. Thank you for all the support over the years. Love you.
Well, thank you very much for the honor, although, excuse me, compared to Joyce, I feel pretty much like a Johnny-come-lately. I was happy that we got to do this today, particularly with Brian, because if you look carefully, Mr. Bozigian, myself, and Brian represent the three phases of male pattern baldness. So, and it's not that bad, Mark. It's not that bad when you get here. I, too, would like to introduce my family members. I've got my father, who turns 92 on Sunday. And my wife of 42 years, Linda Lawson. And then we've got 2 of the 7 grandkids. These 2 are kind of special to us. They've been living at our house because of the great schools in the Antelope Valley. So this is Stephen Rivera and Ruben Rivera. You can't have any idea what an honor it has been to work for my birthplace. Like some on the city council and the mayor, was born on Lancaster Boulevard. I started talking about incorporation for the city of Lancaster when I was a freshman at Antelope Valley High School. I remember giving a speech talking about had we incorporated beforehand, we'd have $10 million in the bank, and it would be just a wonderful thing. So, we've lived that a long time. We have a terrific staff. Let me introduce my staff members. Katie Byrne is here. Angela Claiborne is here. Tess? Okay. Tess is not here because she's taking care of everything else and is an incredible person. And then Shannon Dow is with our staff. She's actually at a seminar today. But, nice part about a small staff like that, it was a little hard to not get a lot of stuff done because we didn't have a lot of debate. But, I'm just very, very happy to, be to the point in life. Somebody said that retirement is ambivalent, bittersweet. I like the way they talked about it in the Ranger Bass Boat website. They said, you're not retiring, you're graduating. So I'm looking forward to graduation.
Bert, do you want to get a picture with your family? Okay. Thank you very much. Stay up here. Stay up here. We have another special guest. We have a councilman, the mayor pro tem from the city of Palmdale. Mr. Hoffbauer, would you like to come down and do the Sea Scouts for us? Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Tonight.
We let you talk here.
You let no. Perfect. Tonight I have 3 members of our Sea Scout crew. A lot of folks out here don't realize or know that we have a Sea Scout crew for about 16, 17 years in the Antelope Valley here. Kids from all the way out in the Far East Valley, out to Quartz Hill, Palmdale, Lancaster, and all points in between. And Sea Scouts is a division of the Boy Scouts of America, and it's for boys and girls from ages 13 and a half up through 21. The program is designed as a leadership training program, and but we do it in a nautical environment. So how many people out here would think of, getting into a career in the maritime industry when you're living out here in the desert? We have a lot of our kids end up going off to the Cal Maritime College up in Vallejo, and they get some wonderful jobs. I've got kids that have gone to the Navy, the Marine Corps, in the Merchant Marine Service. I've got one that worked on the hospital ship Mercy for years. I've got another one that's driving oil tankers all over the Gulf now that started out as a kid this big. And it's amazing to watch these kids grow up. Well, tonight I asked the mayor and Mr. Christ here if we could have these kids come up here and tell you just a little bit about the program they went through. Only a handful of kids get picked to go to the SEAL Sea Scout Advanced Leadership Program that's held in about 5 places across the United States. Adrian went to Newport Beach, Carolina went to Long Island, and Nathaniel went to Galveston, Texas. And Adrian is our bosun, Carolina is our bosun's mate, and Nathaniel is our yeoman. They get to wear this pin. I asked them to dress down tonight and to come in their SEAL uniforms. This is what they wore. They spend a week at sea running an unfamiliar boat with an unfamiliar captain, and they're running it. And they've got all these kids that they've never worked with before. They've got to plan and execute their program for the whole week. And they come back with a new vision. They're invigorated. They've got great ideas, and they keep me busy as hell. So I'd like to have Adrian step up and have Mr. Adrian here tell you just a little bit.
All right. So We all spent months in advance preparing for SEAL training. That's Sea Scout Experience Advanced Leadership Training. And we realized once we got there that you're never really ready for it until the first day that you get there. And when it's so nerve-wracking when you first get there that you just want to turn around and leave, honestly. But you stick with it for a few days, and you're working with this crew that you've never met before, and these adults who you don't know and you've never met other than through emails. And over the course of the week, you learn very rigorous leadership skills and management and training and all of this stuff. And by the end of the week, you realize that you don't want to go home. So, but then you get back and you realize that all these skills that you've just learned are very applicable, both inside the ship and out. And I'm very grateful and proud to have been a part of that program and to be a part of Sea Scouts in general. Thank you.
Good job. So just real quick, we have a 50-foot trawler down in Marina del Rey, and these guys maintain, operate, navigate, drive. They do the whole thing down there, and it's a great experience. Little plug here: if you got kids that are sitting at home playing video games on the weekend, the thing that we ask is, what did your kids do last weekend? Because these guys do a lot of good stuff, and all these skills they learn. The whole idea is for them to take this out, and when they go off to college and when they go out to get a job, they learn to go back and draw on these things. Biggest thing I tell them is have a plan, work it, have plan B. And these guys are all doing it. They're doing it every day.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Chris.
Adrian, congratulations from the City of Lancaster, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Carolina, thank you. On behalf of the City of Lancaster. Daniel, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Come on back here, we'll get a picture. Come on. It doesn't matter. Let's give him a big hand. Thank you. Okay. City Manager, anything to be removed?
No, sir.
Okay. California Choice Energy.
Or at the consent calendar, Vice Mayor.
I know, but we have a speaker card. I'm trying to see if this is what.
Is applicable?
Is there a Ryan? Ryan, you're going to speak on it?
Conserve the energy conservation plan, and the other one is the opioid crisis.
Come on up and speak.
Is it non-agendized?
All right. Good morning, or it's not morning anymore. Good evening. My name is Ryan Langdale, and I'm here to talk about, I think it was item CCA1, which is that one? Could you tell me, Vice Mayor, is that the opioid crisis or the energy conservation?
That's Choice Energy.
Choice Energy, okay. One thing that I noticed upon shopping in Palmdale and Lancaster is that Palmdale seems to be getting more renewable energy. They are more efficient. I will mention the VA facility that I visited today. For some reason, we don't have automatic hand washers there. A little bit odd to me. Palmdale has automatic everything. Not fair. So I'm getting off track. Scratch that. Solar panels. I don't see, or maybe I'm wrong, because they should be on that side of the roof on the south side. does the city use solar panel energy? And if so, why not? We're using choice energy. I know we have the power to choose, but that's something that was not chosen. So a little concerning. And then with regards to the opioid crisis, I haven't really paid too much. I don't dabble with that stuff. I did smoke marijuana before, not anymore. But I have noticed a big crack cocaine problem, and I don't know why this isn't being addressed. I've been working with authorities, and it's very disconcerting because it takes me multiple hours to report this, and I see people walking down the streets. I see the homeless being what I think is pimped out, and it's disgusting to the highest extent. So to talk about something that gets prescribed legally by doctors and avoid something that is manufactured in the streets next to Sierra Elementary School, which I know there's a $5,000 reward, but I have smelt crack cocaine. It smells like burnt plastic. My dad's a retired sheriff or stepdad. And I told the number that I called, and they said they needed a specific address. Well, I have a specific number. It's 661-227-7067. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you for my time to talk.
Thank you. Okay. I need a motion and a second to accept the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to accept the California Choice Energy Authority Action consent calendar.
Second that.
Let's vote. Vote is 3-0, unanimous. Okay, the council actions, the minutes. We don't have a speaker card on the council action.
So we're looking for a motion to accept the minutes. So moved.
I second that, but I was absent last, so I have to still.
Did you read the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, then you
So
can
I'll
vote.
second that.
If you've read the minutes, you're qualified to vote on them.
Qualified to.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Passes 3-0 unanimously. Okay, the consent calendar. Okay, Michael, I think you want to speak on CC 11.
Vice Mayor Chris, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Vice Mayor, I'd like to also speak on CC 9.
You have 3 minutes, Michael.
Okay. First of all, when I saw this CC 9, this payment to BYD, I got a little alarmed about it. And we're giving money to BYD, and the first thing that came to me is maybe they're in financial trouble and we're bailing them out. That was my first impression of that. So that's not correct then.
No, that's not correct. They're one of the most viable countries in the world.
Okay. Going to CC 11, this is an agreement with Control Tech West for $663,000 for advanced traffic management system. I'm wondering if we should wait on this until we get some money from the state of California through the county on the 0.5 cent sales tax, and also reduce some money from the state on the 12-cent tax. Rather than use our money, I would wait on this till we see if we get some money from the state and the county. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Michael. I need a motion and a second to accept the consent calendar as currently comprised.
I'll make the motion to accept the consent calendar as comprised.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Passes unanimously, 3-0. NB1. We have no speaker cards, but it's an update. Go ahead, Vern.
It's also Vern's last staff report in 42 years.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Celebration. Celebration.
Hey, technology, huh?
That looks like Vern over there on that left-hand side in that one car there.
Yeah, we thought you'd get a kick out of this picture. This was November 1983, which ironically is about the same time I retired from the city the first time.
Yeah.
So this downtown pretty much sat lifeless for 27 years. But what I liked about this picture, a couple things, is the movies were The Right Stuff. And I think everybody here has seen it several times, but if you haven't, The Right Stuff completely captures the history of the Antelope Valley back in the 50s, and worth seeing. The other thing that I got a kick out of, you can see the truck with the yellow igloo cooler on it. I'll bet you Mark Bazigan's the only one here who can tell you what that is. It's a hay truck, hay loading truck. Yeah, but you wouldn't. Yeah, and beer, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see those very often in the Antelope Valley. Back in those days, alfalfa was still a big deal.
Yep.
I wanted to go through this pretty quickly because I know, time is of the essence. But as I went through this, I used to do a fair amount of speaking back when I was involved with our professional association. We do case studies and go into towns and talk about case studies and stuff. And so I did a little homework on the downtown, and I really found that this is a pretty phenomenal accomplishment. And let me kind of walk you through why I think that's the case. A lot of people involved in this. I think sometimes you focus more on certain movements and stuff, but in truth, this whole thing started with Brian Luedecke. If he hadn't put through the form-based codes that was there and an ordinance that allowed the density to occur, downtown Lancaster wouldn't be what it is today. And so we had all kinds of charrettes. I know he likes that, but nobody can ever say we didn't have plenty of input from our citizens. Ironically, the old city manager before you did a survey, and they found about only 42% of the people cared about the downtown. So literally, the majority of people just really didn't care so much. The other person who's an unsung hero who needs to get a little bit of accolade is Liz. If you looked at this downtown back then, or even before, and you saw the Dunes Hotel and the Yogi Hilton and all of these horrible, horrible things that the citizens were really up in arms about because they were horrible, horrible places full of parolees and all kinds of things, we couldn't have begun to do what we're talking about. This, I apologize for the picture because I took it, but it was funny, even Shannon Dow didn't know where the intersection was. This is at Fern and Lancaster Boulevard. Of course, what you have today is a pretty sophisticated downtown that's received over 10 awards, including the top award from the Environmental Protection Agency. Of course, you see Lancaster City, or the Performing Arts Center, which is a major, major deal that continues to shine. And then you see the theaters down the street that Scott helped put in. But the biggest difference is look at the runway that used to be Lancaster Boulevard. Can you imagine trying to get across that with a baby carriage, or I don't care if you're a track star? The speeds out by B of A were, I think, 45, 50 miles an hour. And I distinctly remember when Jason first came on that we'd have lunch out there at Pueblo Viejo, and we'd see a couple homeless people, lots of cars, lots of traffic speeding by, but the pedestrian was nothing. Now the pedestrian is the king out there. And I'm really delighted to have learned from Brian Luedecke and a guy named David Sargent how critical that is. I spent a lot of time walking around down there. They had terms like mid-block crossings. I'd never heard of that before. I remember at the first meeting when the traffic engineer said, well, we're going to take out all the traffic signals. I thought, no, signals have been there forever. How could you possibly be pedestrian friendly without traffic signals? The direction from the council, the leadership has been what made this happen, but also the city manager, Mark, and Jason. Jason had had experience doing it downtown in Tehachapi and had this relationship with David Sargent. And the other guy that we need to talk about a lot for this is Kelvin Tainatongo. Kelvin really spent a long time doing the day-to-day of this, and for that we are in a deep debt of gratitude. The program started back in 2010 and was specifically done to not mess with the businesses. You can see this was the first 3 blocks that we did. And of course, it was the middle of a recession, And what better thing for a city to do than revitalize its central core in the middle of a recession? The odds are pretty good we weren't going to get a lot of Fortune 500 companies, coming into the city of Lancaster. We kicked in $10 million, the redevelopment agency did, and I promised Mark I wouldn't whine about that. But that $10 million investment generated over $130 million investment from the private sector. And these are just some older statistics. I think if we really sat down and looked at it, you'd see even more. The other thing that this has caused is kind of a new courtesy and sense of community in the downtown. Today, I was kind of concerned about people backing into traffic initially when we talked about this theoretically, but it's not a problem. You don't need mid-block crossings. There's enough courtesy down there that people stop. Speeds are now at 15 miles an hour. And then, one thing we cannot forget, Steve Jobs.
He's serious.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris, or make that Scott, Ehrlich. I talked about the $130 million that got invested because of him. And so Jason and I are fond of saying, had it not been for Scott, we would have had a beautiful streetscape in the downtown. And we would have had the same people walking around, kind of wondering what was going on. This particular picture, I kind of like it. We actually took it off Scott's website, but it shows 25 projects that he's built. And for anybody that really understands, this picture isn't nearly big enough to capture all the rest of the projects that have been built down there. So without the assistance of the private sector, we'd be in big trouble. There are two other people I'd like to mention. Pam Statsman, of course, has been here in the finance department forever and gets to do the terrific P-bid. If you're a finance department, that's exactly what you want to hear about. There's 1,500 properties down here. Let's make sure they get billed every year. Let's increase their property taxes. Let's vote the whole deal. But see the smile on her face now? That's all you get, is a smile. She's happy to do it, happy to get involved. And then Mr. DeRico, another guy who doesn't like much accolade. Had it not been for your advocacy in the ambassador program, we had a real problem in the downtown with aggressive panhandling. A little hard to get your family excited to come into downtown Lancaster if they're going to get aggressively panhandled. But because of the ambassadors and the relationship with the sheriff's department and Lee's leadership, that's kind of become a thing of the past. The other thing that I think has transformed the downtown completely has been our festivals. And I would have liked to have attended the first meeting when Mark and Jason sat down with Rhonda and said, oh, hi, Rhonda, welcome to the position. And oh, by the way, could you do a festival every month for the whole year? We like this picture we got of Rhonda. It's kind of Queen Rhonda. She's a little taller in that one. I think there was some, but she's speaking to her subjects, you can see, and very appropriate. But Celebrate America, the Boulevard, Magic Christmas, which is as good today as it was when it first got going, and then the Streets of Lancaster, which is, I remember Steve Goki originally had that idea, and I was completely convinced there was no way that was going to happen. But I said, Steve, if you can make it happen, go crazy. And danged if he didn't, and of course today it's grown into quite a deal. The true purpose of this presentation is to talk about kind of downtown 2.0. Where are we going? Where are we heading? And I think the biggest distinction, and years ago Rex said he'd like to make downtown Lancaster the center of the universe in the Antelope Valley for the arts and culture. And yet that's what's occurred. The California State's Arts Council has stood up and designated us with a lot of other more sophisticated areas. But I think one of the greatest indications of that cultural designation is what's called powwow, and these are murals that were put down there that I'll put up against any city in the state of California. The quality of the murals. The good news is this is going to happen again in 2018. They're going to do 15 more walls. And of course, it goes without saying, the Lancaster Performing Arts Center, the Museum and Art Gallery, we're very, very fortunate to have that, and it's created a sophistication. Angela has done a very good job because people don't think of culture and Lancaster in the same breath. But because of some of the bloggers and folks, familiarization tours she's had with Westway Magazine and that kind of thing, you're starting to see very positive things. Kind of the attitude is that nightlife doesn't have to stop in the San Fernando Valley. Nightlife is important because there's now labor shortages up here, and some of these companies are looking about bringing new people in, and they're very interested in the nightlife aspect. The biggest news I think we've ever had in the downtown in a long, long time is this new hotel. It's a Residence Inn by Marriott. It'll be what's called an extended stay hotel, which means that when the folks get transferred into the Antelope Valley, they're going to do the flight test out at Edwards Air Force Base in the B-21 bomber, which is still confidential and you can't talk about. But Marriott thinks you can talk about it, because these guys will come in here in this extended stay hotel, and they may stay there for 6 months, 8 months, whatever. This is in conjunction with Destination Lancaster. This will be the 10th hotel for Destination Lancaster, and I think you all know that the existing hotels, re-up unanimously. The Starbucks that's in downtown. Wasn't too many years ago where we couldn't talk Starbucks into making a single store in the city of Lancaster. And for some reason, not me so much, I don't drink coffee, but I think some people sort of look at that as the cultural brand. And now I think we're up to 7 or 8. They're going to do another one in another center. This hotel is 102 rooms, nice size hotel. Posh is how I think the Valley Press described it, which we liked. The hotel will generate about $300,000 a year in bed tax. I don't know, people will say to me frequently, hey, what's the city want to see on that dirt? And what I say is a hotel. It's a no-brainer. It's one of the few locally assessed taxes that we get, the transient occupancy tax. So this will be all good news. There's also going to be a repurposing of Beck's, which will become Don Sal's upscale cantina, Mexican restaurant. And then Rochambeau will go to Buckles and Boots. And I would suspect that Angela's already got a cross-promotion going with the rodeo and Buckles and Boots and line dancing and all of that. People ask me frequently why there's a blank here, because I hit the wrong button. Where's the exact location of the hotel? And you know where the Starbucks is, and they kept the existing building, but the pink that you see, there's location. And actually, the front of it will be back more on Kildare Street. There's a porte cochere back in there. It's a 5-story hotel. We have helped Scott. We've acquired a parking lot next door. It'll also work for a fire department easement. Happy to answer any questions, but the last slide is Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Questions? Comments? Vern, thank you. Thank you for what you've done. And from all of us, thank you very much. Appreciate it. NB2. We do have a speaker card. Jason? Jeff?
Good evening, Vice Mayor and members of the City Council Commission. Staff's excited about this one. A lot of times these type of projects or items kind of just swing through approval process, get implemented, and life goes on. City leadership really wanted us to highlight this, some of the great things that the City Council, City of Lancaster is doing. We were talking about fancy names, and I guess maybe one of the reasons why these kind of go unnoticed is engineers like to call these ITS expansion projects or traffic signal modernization projects. What this really is the City of Lancaster is getting a state-of-the-art traffic signal technology. So this is a big deal to us. Through the leadership and vision of the City Council and our traffic division, headed up by Trolise Niebla and Alan Perkins, have made this something of real right now, reality. The city will be pumping in $3.6 million into our 147 traffic signal system. A majority of this money is leveraged state money. So there was a question about how much of this money is our money. A majority of this is grant-funded money. So what is exactly going on here? There will be new and upgraded firmware and software. What does that mean? It's going to be web-based. Basically, our traffic engineer will be able to go anywhere and look at our traffic signal systems and be able to look at real-time, real data. All the traffic signals will be upgraded to new controllers, and traffic engineers basically explain that to me as each traffic signal is going to get a new brain. Right now the brains are old, and a lot of times you'll see them go in flash mode. We have to have the traffic signal technicians go out there and manually put them back into service. With this upgrade and this technology, we'll be able to do a lot of this from the office. We'll also be focusing on, again, real-time data. One of the things is just recently we signal timed a lot of our major intersections out there. This is kind of the next step. What we're going to be doing is 54 intersections will have video detection capabilities of conducting traffic counts. So we'll be able to immediately look at traffic counts rather than going out there, putting the boxes out there, figuring things out, making adjustments to the signal timing. We're also going out to the rural intersections, 18 of them, and putting in wireless capabilities where they'll be able to be connected to the system. In addition, which we're really excited about, 12 intersections are going to have HD video capabilities. So traffic engineering folks will be able to actually pan in, look at intersections, check out what's going on as far as backups or adjustments need to be done. So this is something that a lot of cities are going to, and we're going to be right there in the front lines as far as technology. And I guess the last thing, which I think our assistant city manager really wanted to talk about, this is a catalyst to something even greater. And I'm going to let him talk about it. This is something that we've been talking about, smart cities, and so I'm going to have him kind of talk about what's the foundation of this and what it's going to lead to.
Thank you, Jeff. One key component of this project is 28 miles of additional and expanded fiber optic network. So if you can imagine between our signals, when Jeff talks about how they communicate through copper wire currently and a partial fiber network. This project will expand the fiber network where copper exists today and then expand fiber where nothing exists today. So it's a combination of both. And what that does, and I think what's cool about it is our staff has the ability to look at infrastructure differently than they did before, right? When you talk about traffic signals, you talk about them as ways to move traffic, and that's their most important role. But at the same time, if you have communication systems in between those, you can then utilize those communication systems for alternate means as well. So as the traffic signals are communicating to each other, you then can create systems that allow us to provide Wi-Fi, community-wide, allows us to provide internet access through that fiber optic network if we connect it to One Wilshire. There's a number of different things we can do off that fiber network that is far and above our capabilities as traffic signals. In addition, if you recall, which you guys know, the project of acquiring our streetlights and modifying those, this then becomes that system that carries that Wi-Fi repeaters and those smart street signals to the locations that they need to be. So when Jeff talks about this as an exciting project and we talk about technology, it doesn't feel exciting, but at the end of the day, this is the backbone, this is the core of what we can do as a community to not only implement data-driven decision-making, Wi-Fi technology, communication systems and telecommunications assets. And if you look at it on the big picture, you look at 10, 20 years from now, when we're all driving autonomous vehicles, those, and I know, you nod your head, you will be, well, you won't be driving. When you're riding in an autonomous vehicle, and it will happen, those autonomous vehicles will be communicating through systems that we build today. And I think that's the key component of what we're talking about. So with that, we recommend and appreciate you approving this contract, and we're excited about what's coming next. And it's all underground, so you won't see anything special, but we appreciate the approval. Thank you.
By the way, I want to thank Rhonda for the Christmas festival last weekend. It was the best one I've ever attended. We did a really good job this year. By the way, for your information, Thursday marks the 10th anniversary of my being in Lancaster, so I don't know if that's something to be celebrated or not, but I wanted to let you know, and I'm sorry that I didn't come up here sooner in my life. But unfortunately, the media down below portrayed Palmdale and Lancaster as a bunch of skinheads and gangs, and I was even afraid to even come to town here. And thanks to real estate lady in Burbank that showed me homes up here that I could afford. I'm here, and thank you for having me in Lancaster. I am really glad there's going to be some improvement on the traffic, because the traffic signals in this town drive me nuts every day. Sometimes I feel like getting on the freeway and say, I can't take this anymore. I'm going to go down to Santa Clarita or someplace. And this extends not only to Lancaster, it goes all the way up to Palmdale. And I'm wondering if Jeff and city manager have considered asking Palmdale if they wanted to be in on this, because, you know, if we have good signals down here, you're going to keep going south on 10th Street to Palmdale, and then you're going to run into a mess. So I wish the city would talk to Palmdale and ask them if they're involved. But even if we repair and improve the signals in Lancaster, it's not going to help us with some of the drivers we have in this town, and that's why we need the sheriff's department. We need the city to allocate more money to the sheriff's department before they can enforce the traffic. I don't know how many times a day I drive in this town and people don't make turn signals, or they don't know how to drive, or they don't want to make turn signals. So that's a perpetual problem in the traffic in this town, and it's going to get worse because we have an influx of more people. So we need to consider law enforcement too with our traffic signals. So that's all I have to say on this subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Just a couple comments on what you said, Michael. We do have the largest sheriff contract in the county currently. We employ more sheriffs than anyone else, and they do, I think, a very good job. What we're trying to do is slow the traffic down by road diets. And by putting the bike lanes in, not necessarily for the bikes, it's to slow the traffic down, because we have a choice to make, and that choice can be we can enforce it and write a lot of people a lot of tickets, or teach them to slow down by the roads that they drive on. So that's the basics of what we're trying to operate by. So thank you for your comments, and happy anniversary. Okay, I need a motion and a second for NB2.
I'll make the motion to accept NB2 Public Works Construction Project 16-001 North County ITS expansion and traffic signal modernization.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion passes unanimously 3-0. Okay. The mayor has put out the nomination for the chairs and vice chairs for everything. So for the Planning Commission, for the chair, James Vos and Randy Hall for the vice chair. For the Architectural and Design, Sheldon Carter as the chair, April Bartlett as the vice chair. Criminal Justice, Jeff Little as the chair, Lisa Rodriguez as the vice chair. Homeless Impact, Donna Tremere as the chair, Sergeant Teresa Dawson as the vice chair, and the Healthy Community, Stephen Derryberry as the chair, and Michael Fluke as the vice chair. So do we need a motion and a second to approve this?
It can be done in a singular motion, yes.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to accept the chairs and vice chairs of the 5 commissions.
And I second that on this.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion passes 3-0 unanimously. Nomination and appointment of Angela Hearns and Timothy Wiley to the Lancaster Healthy Community Commission. I need a motion and a second.
So moved as stated.
Let me clarify that. Is the mayor's nomination the motion?
The mayor's nomination is the motion.
Okay, so then I'll second that then.
We have a nomination and a second. Let's vote. It passes 3-0 unanimously. CA3.
We're going to defer that.
Are we deferring CA3?
I think it would probably be best to defer it. The mayor has some things he'd like to talk about of potential actions that the city can take, but he would do a better job than
Sure.
could have explained.
Okay, are you going to talk about CA4 as far as the monument that the city is doing and how we're giving the veterans HBO?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And in the city manager's announcements, we have a little video on that too. But all 5 of the council members, mayor and council members, celebrated the city's 40th anniversary, Michael, by being at the Veterans Home and serving the veterans. And in there, it was a lot of fun. We got to listen to Mr. Mann teach everyone how to make pancakes. But also in there, you forget sometimes the little things that are important to people. And in talking to the veterans, they were very proud of their home, but there's no monument sign on the corner of 30th and I that lets people know where they're going. So the mayor right then said, you'll have one in 90 days. And then we looked at each other and we called Scott Ehrlich, and Scott Ehrlich will be designing and donating a monument sign. I don't know if it's going to be in 90 days, but he will do that.
Can we make sure it's better than the one that's on 10th and Lancaster Boulevard?
I'll let Scott know he paid for that one too.
Well, usually people match the brick or the stone around it.
I'll let him know.
Okay,
Yeah.
please do.
The second one is that in talking to the vice mayor and everyone there, the veterans love the Game of Thrones, but they can only see it there based on if they go to someone's house or someone comes or whatever, they don't have HBO for some reason. So through our communications division, we're able to contact Spectrum, and they will be providing HBO to not only the home, but all the rooms in the home, too.
Oh,
And so that
Good
was
for
very
them.
cool. That was very cool.
I think that's good. That's great. Okay, CR1, report of activities for the sanitation district. I'll report on it. I was there today. Mayor Paris sat with Mayor Ledford. Mayor Paris asked for an audit because the 2 districts. I think our attorney bill was a little over $2 million, and same sanitation district in Palmdale was about $400,000. So he asked to audit the attorney bills, and there was quite a discussion on it. Mayor Ledford did not feel it was necessary to audit the attorney's firm. So I'm sure you'll read about it in the paper tomorrow. CR2, the board of directors at the ABTA, we did lower the ridership age for our seniors to qualify to age 62.
that's down to your age, right?
Well, I qualify now.
Yeah,
You've
okay.
qualified for the last 5 years, but I do qualify now. Does that, would that be a conflict of interest if I voted on that?
I would think so. I can't believe that he took advantage of lowering that down to his age. My
It
goodness
would be a
gracious.
public generally exception. You're okay.
Oh, there you go,
just
sticking
checking.
up for Marvin.
Just, Daryl, what are you laughing at?
Sorry. Y'all so old. Seasoned.
Seasoned.
There it is.
Okay, we'll skip the CR3. City manager.
Yes, we have a few announcements and a video. First, we honored Lancaster Baptist, but Lancaster is the city of champions in football this year. We will also be honoring Paraclete High School for winning Division 6, I believe, and Quartz Hill, I'm not sure Quartz Hill's division, but they also won CIF. So that's 3 CIF champions in football in the city of Lancaster. Mr. Mann, do you know if Palmdale High School won any?
No, I didn't think they did very well this year. I think they made it to the Golden League, and then I think they flashed out in that first playoff game, didn't they? In the CIF? I think they did. I think they flashed
Vice
out.
Mayor went to Palmdale, right?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
He did.
He played football there, that's right.
He actually played football. He wasn't a water boy like you, but he played football.
I've been in the championship trophy at Paraclete 5 times now. The trophy.
I
room.
do know that you have your name on it 5 times.
Thank you. And when we present them with the plaque next week or next month,
It will have it on there again.
Yes, I will.
You should be so proud.
My parents are proud of me. Next thing I'd like to talk, moving on, is Magical Boulevard. That event was awesome. Really thank the council for being there. It means a lot to the community. It was the biggest crowd we had. Thank you to staff, the businesses council. Really an awesome time, and we appreciate the support that council gives. When we were in the downturn, you guys did not cut events, and the fruits of those labors are building an event like that that is memories for generations of kids, their whole lives. So that's a big deal, not cutting that.
Do you give Parks and Rec January off? Or, I mean,
That's a non-agendized item, sir.
oh,
No, Parks and Rec, we appreciate them greatly. We have the best Parks and Rec department in the entire state of California. And they don't get the credit they deserve.
I would agree with that. They do a wonderful job, and they do a lot of work.
That is correct. Vice Mayor brought up traffic safety, and I think it's important that we focus on that a little bit and look at some of the stats. It's either wrong or it's an occupational hazard or just perverse pleasure, but I troll Facebook and see what people are saying about Lancaster. And one of the things that comes up is a misunderstanding, I think, not by a lot of people, but by some that are vocal about the purpose of bike lanes and road diets and traffic circles and such. And the mayor's spoken about that numerous occasions. Vice Mayor did today. Valley Press did a great editorial on the focus of traffic in Lancaster and why it's important to slow people down and to protect pedestrians. I'm happy to report that through your focus and support, Safe Routes to School grants, changing the geometrics of our streets to slow traffic down, and through a lot of enforcement by the Sheriff's Department, we're going in the right direction. Last year at this time, we had 26 fatal collisions that resulted in 29 fatalities. This year at the same time, we have 16 collisions, 16 fatalities. Every one of those is a tragedy, but it's going in the right direction, and that is 13 less this year than last year. That 13 families are not affected in the most tragic way you can. That's a big deal, and we're going to continue to do it, and I appreciate you explaining and continuing to explain why it's important to pay attention to everything about driving. Slapping a speed sign up doesn't slow people down. So that's a big deal.
Can we talk about construction?
We absolutely can.
Can we talk about not having construction on our roads during December?
I can assure you that you will not see that ever again. Should not have happened this time. I take
Can we make an
responsibility
ordinance
for it.
that it doesn't happen?
You can make an ordinance. You can threaten my job. It's going to happen. Whatever
I don't
you
want to
do.
threaten your job. I just want to make an ordinance that will tell the people that we don't do this. You know,
Absolutely.
we're affecting the retail business here,
Yep.
and it's just not good for us, nor people are already out there stressed.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I apologize for that to the public, and it will not happen again.
So can you bring us back ordinance?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and maybe we ought to do that out of courtesy. Sometimes we don't tell the truth, and here's my opinion.
Ooh.
Common sense be implied. He's being polite. But again, the traffic level is going to be at its greatest point, I'm sure, if we took traffic counts during the month of December, just because people are in the holiday spirit and they're out shopping. And I think that, unfortunately, we didn't apply maybe some sensical thought in regards to our, I understand that we have streets that are in need of repair, but I think that probably, as Vice Mayor said, we probably could have used a little bit more common sense and maybe chose another time of the year, maybe where that wouldn't be so impactful. So, but I think maybe we just, hopefully somebody picks that up, what your statement was and what Marvin brought. Hopefully that gets published in the newspaper, because I think people get frustrated and they don't stop and think that sometimes, what's the leaders doing in the city of Lancaster? And maybe we just ought to tell the truth, and we made a mistake, and we won't let it happen again, and we move on from it. And the roads are getting repaired. That is a positive thing. So,
Point taken and agreed, and we will bring a resolution back.
right.
I think that'd be best for everybody, so there's no question, and try to slip it through, and, you know, whether it's for whose benefit or what, we just need to make sure that that kind of stuff doesn't happen. So it's,
You will
we don't want them to get frustrated.
Yeah.
You will have that. Next, I'd like to have Allison give you a brief report on Cal Water. That issue had come up, I think, at the last meeting. We had several directions and comments from the council, and Allison's been working on it, and she can give a status report.
Thank you.
Briefly, we've been taking a look at some of the information available out there regarding Cal Water, including their 2016 summary annual report, and have uncovered some interesting information, including a report by them that their CEO's total 2016 compensation, including stock, salary, et cetera, was over $4.4 million. And their CFOs, so their chief financial officers, total 2016 compensation, including salary, stock, et cetera, was nearly $1.2 million. They also reported a 600% return on investment over the last 20 years for investors in their company. So I will be coming back with additional actions to be taken by this board and council to continue looking into this, but I thought you'd like to know some of the things that they're reporting to their own shareholders.
Thank you.
So,
You have a video for us?
Yeah, more to come on that. And then lastly, we'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Council, and we have a video of the serving the veterans on November 22nd, 2017, our 40th birthday.
We're here at the William J. Pete Knight Veterans Home in Lancaster, California, serving up a pancake breakfast to some of our deserving veterans. Let's go inside and check out what's going on. We're here with Vice Mayor Chris. What are we up to this morning?
We're feeding our national treasures. I mean, this is a great thing. The entire city council here from Lancaster, feeding the veterans. It's just what we live to do. This is just a perfect example of coming out, paying tribute to the veterans, and saying thank you for the people that provide our safety.
What has been your favorite part about this morning?
You know, the smile on their face, and when they feel loved. You know, when we go up to them and shake their hand and thank them what they have done for our country, and just appreciate them. This is the least we can do to appreciate what they have done for our country. So it's a great day today, and they're enjoying it.
Today was really wonderful. We had a wonderful pancake breakfast served by our city council. That's something really special. We haven't had one of those here before. The residents are enjoying breakfast and some gifts too. So this is a wonderful day. It's a Thanksgiving day.
What's going on this morning? What's happening here at the Veterans Home?
A pancake breakfast, of course, and a souvenir cup. The city's 40th anniversary.
It's very gratifying. It's a very good feeling to know that we're appreciated and still thought of today.
We enjoy the people coming around, you know, because it makes us feel, you know, hey, you know, somebody recognize us, we're here. Yeah, we need more people coming around to show appreciation, you know.
What was your favorite part of this morning?
Well, I might say right now the singing, they're good, aren't they? I enjoy that when I see people helping other people. And I know that better now than I ever have because here I am. I have people helping me, you know, and I appreciate it, I really do.
I know that you were serving pancakes. How was that this morning, serving food?
That was amazing. I had so much fun. I really enjoy doing events like this, and it just kind of touches my heart a bit. And as people are coming through and just saying thank you for your service and flipping these pancakes and making plates and all that, I feel a lot of emotion this morning. But nothing but great things, right? Nothing but great things.
What's the secret to a good pancake?
Making the mix right, cooking it at the right temperature, flipping it when it's supposed to flip. So I did a little education this morning on how to cook pancakes with everybody. What better place to be as we move into the holidays and Thanksgiving is to show up here and tell everybody, hey, thanks. And that's the least we can do is take a little bit of time out of our busy schedule and make them breakfast. So I enjoyed that.
We're grateful. We want to thank you for all you've done for our country and for us. And when you need help, just reach out. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday, more importantly, a wonderful Thanksgiving, and Merry Christmas. It's right around the corner.
Just a word of advice for anyone, never cook pancakes around Ken Man.
They were great, were they not?
Yes, they were. They were.
You were good. All of you were great students.
Ken taught us all, whether we needed it or not, how to cook pancakes. He works for Denny's. You were Employee of the Year, weren't you, at Denny's?
Yes, I have been.
Okay, just checking.
Shows you that I know how to make pancakes.
For a long time, you've known. Okay, City Clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council, agency, and authority on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the City Manager. Thank you.
George, you have 3 cards here.
Yeah, I shot them in there.
I know, but you only get to speak for 3 minutes, okay?
Okay.
That's the.
Oh, for all 3 of them?
For all 3 of them.
Okay,
Go.
I'll make it quick.
Okay.
Vice Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen, the corner of Roden and J8 heading west on J8, somebody has taken a liberty of making a big dump. There's 4 to 5 sofas, there's twin beds, there's queen beds, there's whatever. Multitude of bags of trash. I'm recommending I'll go along, or if I can find some people to go along with me, I would like to go through those bags to try to find ID so we can issue citations for this illegal dumping. Now, to the bicycle lanes, going east on Lancaster Boulevard at Sierra Highway, right in front of the Sheriff Department, you have 1 lane crossing the tracks. It's already telling you that lane's been eliminated. But constantly, cars are shooting right in there. You cannot go over to turn right at the next light. Right in front of the Sheriff Department, you don't even have to station anybody in a car or nothing. They can stand out there and get them. They'll start issuing some citations. Bike lanes, the same thing. Bicycle riders 16 and under are required by law to have a helmet of some type, okay? They're constantly in their bike lane, correct direction, but they'll swerve over into the crosswalk, okay? That law is you get off your bike and push it through the crosswalk. They're continuing to ride the bikes through the crosswalk. Let's get some tickets going on this. I see it daily, constant. What was the third one?
Yeah, the bike lanes, the security lights.
Oh, the light
lights.
system, security lights. Along with this new system, is there security against the hackers? Because we've already seen this take place in other cities all over the country where somebody's jammed the lights and they've made them constant and caused accidents. So I'm not a computer genius, or far from it, but I think that this should be addressed in this new system.
Yeah. Jason, you're going to look at that, correct?
Yes, sir. It has security systems to make sure
Okay.
that doesn't happen.
Against the good hackers. You got a good
So
hacker.
good hackers are great hackers. It has security as it relates to external involvement, yes.
And Jeff, you'll look at the bike thing by the sheriff's station for the bottleneck. We'll take care of it. Thank you, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Michael.
Vice Mayor, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you brought up the lanes that have been put down for bike lanes. You know, it's a nightmare. For example, you come out of Walmart and you make a right turn to go west on Lancaster Boulevard, and you have a bike lane that's half the street. Is that supposed to slow me down? It does slow me down, but it's a traffic hazard. Okay, you exit Walmart, and then you have a bike lane that takes up half the street. I mean, you go over to Albertsons, you have these multiple bike lanes on 20th Street before you get into the parking lot, and then it's so ridiculous. They have a sign, well, you have to go this way and that way. People disregard those bike lanes. They do slow people down, I'll say that, but they're a hazard. There's no street anymore. It's all bike lane. And I'm glad you brought up the part about the construction during Christmas season. That was a real Einstein idea to let them do that. I'm going down Lancaster Boulevard going west. I can't make a left turn on 20th because they have the machinery out there, so I have to go all the way down to Valley Central and go back around. It's a total nightmare.
You can turn on 20th. It's just going to take you a little longer.
But, you know, I think you need to reevaluate these bike lanes. There's just too many of them. And the bike riders don't ride on them. They ride on the sidewalk.
Michael,
Right.
let me explain my interpretation of it is we're trying to slow the traffic down, okay? We can either slow you down by giving you tickets or we can slow you down naturally, okay? But we're trying to slow you down. We're trying to make way for, just better traffic all around. You came up before and talked about how the people are not good drivers around here. We're trying to slow them down. That's our first step. We'll get them slowed down, and then we'll take a look at doing it. But all the surveys, I went back to the EPA, and the EPA was saying the road diets is the way to go. And they were saying that 10 years ago. So they're continually to push that, and we need to slow the traffic down. I think safety is the main concern. What we're looking for is safety for our residents. That's what we're in charge of.
Yeah, but while you're doing that, you're making it terribly inconvenient and dangerous for the residents. I mean, you shouldn't have to exit Walmart parking lot and fear for your life because there's only one lane and it's on the other side of the bike lane.
We'll slow them down, Michael. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Mark, did you not reiterate that we dropped from 29 fatalities? I mean, I would hope that we would have none related to traffic, but we dropped from 29 to 16. So, Michael, you better get used to more roads in the city of Lancaster getting condensed down. And you have an opinion, obviously. I would suggest that you do a little bit of time either on the internet with Google and take a look at the federal highway safety programs, because the statistics say the exact opposite of what you just got finished saying. And I would suggest you do a little bit of homework, because I would hope that we get that from 29 down to 16. Maybe, knock on wood, next year, maybe we'll get to 0. And when we get to 0, then I think we've done our job. So there may be some frustration on the way to getting there, but I hope we get to 0 on our highways in the city of Lancaster.
Fran, come talk to us.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Vice Mayor Chris.
How are you today?
My time's already up? My goodness. Boy, I was fast. I didn't
Fran,
think
thank
I
you
was
for your
that quick.
comments.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for listening to me. Good evening. Council members, ladies and gentlemen, and staff, thank you for listening to me. Real quick, since you were bringing up right now the traffic and all, what's being done, this was not in my notes for today, by the way, I just happened to think about it. On Lancaster and West Avenue, the 15th Street West, how come they're always running into those poor people's walls? You fix them, and 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, they're busted again. And I've in my lifetime, I've seen it almost every other month or two. How come? What's going on there? And this
It's a blind intersection. It was designed and it's a blind intersection, and it's a four-way blind intersection. So our goal there is to put a roundabout.
Yay!
Oh, that's
And Mr. Mann all letters should be addressed to Mr. Ken Mann.
I will take the letters.
Yeah, because I feel sorry for those poor people. You know, their walls get busted every 2 months at least.
Yeah.
On both sides.
We're trying to slow them down, Fran.
Slow 'em, it's all about slowing the traffic level down, and again, we can get into as many debates as we want,
Okay,
but science says roundabouts ultimately save lives, and it actually puts more cars through a intersection. So, and then if somebody says, well, it costs a lot, actually not, because
No,
what
it's
you realize what disappears is traffic signals, and we don't have to deal with traffic signal maintenance, and so there's reduced expense. So
Okay.
again, it's all about
I know.
the
but,
science of safety out on our streets today.
Okay, thank you very much for listening to me, and I just had to bring it up. Real quick, I got a lot to say tonight, and I don't know. Anyway, I got a minute left. First of all, Scott Ehrlich was supposed to get to me to answer my questions from the last meeting about the homeless community that you're building or going to build. He never called me.
Okay.
And I thought, well, the reason I didn't call anybody on staff or anyone to is that I know he's busy, but I thought maybe tonight he was going to come in with a project to show us what the whole deal was about. So that's why I didn't do anything about it. Now, real quick, I wanted to thank the council, Angela. See, my time is up already.
No, you have 30 seconds.
Okay. I wanted to thank you and Angela Underwood-Jacobs for coming forward and trying to do something about this poor Gabriel baby and making the system accountable for taking care of these kids. God, he's an little angel. The senior housing, after I left the meeting last week, Elizabeth showed the new projects. When I went home, I put on TV, and I love the concept. I think it's really be good. I have this very important part. I want to say thank you for letting me and the citizens of Lancaster to be able to speak and say and give their thoughts and ideas and opinions. We have the right We have the right to speak, no matter what someone else might think and dislike what I say or what I do. And I appreciate the council and the city of Lancaster. That's why I love Lancaster, and I'll fight for Lancaster the best I can. And I want to thank you for that. And I want more to, but one more quick thing. Heroes Park, when I was coming here, there was a bunch of kids, teenage kids, about 6 or 7, smoking marijuana. And when I had to go by them, I almost fainted. It was so strong. I also want to say I want to wish you all a blessed and Merry Christmas, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. God bless you all.
Thank you, Fran. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Shannon.
Good evening, Council.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
Yeah, I have just a few things to say. The first thing I want to say is my grandmother. We've been out here for a long, since we're talking about how long people have been staying out. My grandparents have been here since like the 40s or 50s, I believe. And my grandmother, my grandfather have a house off on Kingtree, like literally behind the Avens over there. And I just got through. I saw her during the parade, just walking distance, so close. And she is requesting speed bumps. She really wants speed bumps. She says people going backwards. She's seen it numerous times, about 30, 35, 40 miles an hour backwards to the end of the street. And Monte Vista's there. That's a school I went to, that elementary school. So I understand the whole layout because I grew up in that house. So I just wanted to bring, that was the first thing. She also said that Mayor Rex Paris has done more for this because obviously my family's known a lot of the mayors that have come and gone. She said that Mayor Rex Paris, she loves him to death. I wish he could be here to hear this, but that he's done more for this community than any other mayor before him. And she really, really likes him a lot. So I just wanted to throw that, because she's not going to come to a meeting. So I just want to tell you that. Secondly, I actually just, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I just became a board member of Antelope Valley Partners in Health. And I'm like really happy about that, because I actually ended up becoming commissioner and board member for Antelope Valley Partners in Health, and like just so quick towards the end of the year, even though my beginning of the year was just not as great, but the end of it has been wonderful. And I really wanted to thank each and every one of you for putting your trust in me, knowing that I will do what I can as a commissioner for the city of Lancaster. And I work with an extremely high amount of integrity, and my conscience is my guide in a sense, because if I expect my leaders above me to run the city properly, then I'm going to do, I can only expect more from myself. And you guys are literally like making my dreams come true. In a big way, because my dream is politics. My goal is the White House. So, I mean, there's baby steps, and I'm looking forward to all the other ventures that I have before me. Hopefully it'll land, hopefully all these things will actually land me a paycheck. Oh, I really need it, but either way it goes, I just wanted to make sure I came up here and thanked each and every one of you for your support, because it definitely you guys definitely supported me if I'm commissioner here. So I look forward to doing great things for our community and working with all of you as well to keep it great.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
David Paul. David, close out our year positive.
Only good things, Vice Mayor. Mr. Vice Mayor and Council and Commissioners, good evening. You know, I am always impressed, and tonight I am really impressed. I told Brian earlier when I spoke to him that a lot of my remarks were taken up by the speakers outside, so I don't want to be redundant and stuff. This is a wonderful time of the year. There's magic in the air, and it's an ancient tradition to realize that during the solstice there's less and less light, and then the light comes back. And that's what this city represents to me, the dawning of the light. I have been nothing but impressed through the years with what has happened here. And Brian and Vern, congratulations. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to know you. This is a wonderful city, and I wake up every day grateful that I can live here. So the traffic is fine. It'll work itself out. These things get worked on, and I appreciate that. And it's just a wonderful place to live. And I, again, thank you for the opportunity to be a member of this community.
Thank you, David.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Mr. Vos, do you have anything for us?
Just a brief update on a couple of items that we have on our last Planning Commission meeting next Monday night. Prior to that, however, we are celebrating Mr. Ludicke's retirement Friday at 5 p.m. at a little venue across the road here. And those of you that have signed up to come over and celebrate with Brian, we look forward to seeing you there. And those of you who haven't, you still have an opportunity. So we're with mixed emotion that we are all participating in his retirement celebration. We're going to miss him, that's for sure.
Very much so. Thank you. Mr. Deputy Mayor, Darrell.
Yes, sir.
What you got?
we're continually working on the community center. I'm very excited. Toy and I have been doing a lot of groundwork, meeting with a lot of agencies that are interested in being a part of that community center. We also were able to tour the Salvation Army, which is a facility that was put up as an emergency, and it was just wonderful what they've done in 2 weeks and what they're doing for the homeless over there. Other than that, I am so impressed with what the city does, and to be a resident of 20 years here, and I kind of hate I didn't get to know you that well, Vern. I think you need to do another 20 years just for me. But I'm excited to be a part of this. And my birthday is Christmas Eve, so I'm going to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and y'all can wish me happy birthday later.
He's told everyone I know that his birthday's December 24th. I think it's a hint. Did he? Raj, do you have a present for him?
Yeah, on 24th.
All right.
I'll see you. I just wanted to wish everybody Merry Christmas and enjoy your. And Brian, I just wanted to let everybody know that about 8 or 9 years ago, then when I was in the planning commission, I learned a lot from him as about planning city and all those things. That I was 2 people I learned a lot with Jim Wose and Brian. So I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the things you have done for the city. And Vern and both of you guys will be missed very much. So thank you.
Ken.
I too want to say I want to thank personally both Brian and Vern. I had the pleasure of growing up with Vern, and he was a leader in all the way through grade school, high school, and then I appreciate the fact that he brought his leadership skills here. And likewise, in regards to Brian, you know, this is what I believe. When I walk the streets of Lancaster or drive the streets of Lancaster, both of you gentlemen's work is well entrenched in this city. And I know that maybe in the future there'll be some things that people won't necessarily identify with you two, but I think both the city staff and the council, you'll always be in our memories in relationship to what you've done here. Because again, whether we travel the streets, we see some of Brian's handiwork, his guidance, his leadership, and then if we take a look at the business side, I think under Vern's leadership, we've been able to prosper. So I thank you both. And I'm sure if the people were aware of all the things that you've touched and were acknowledged for all your work, they too would share that appreciation. So thank both of you guys. Appreciate that. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
I'd like to thank Vern and Brian. Accolades for everything that you guys have done. I mean, it's just what you've done in this community is just great. And knowing this will be the last time we have the opportunity to thank you, because from now on we're going to blame everything on you two. So thank you very much. Okay, with that, we adjourn till January 9th.